So let's take a look here at the next question. Describe the movements. So we're just going to describe the movements, but we have to use the rate of change, or we have to when we describe what's happening, we have to use the slope. So that's how, because that's what we want. We want to use that, use it to compare. That's the whole point. We want to use it to compare one section to the other. So I'm actually going to do this right on here. So this is number 1, and I want to do your rise over your run. And so we go here, rise from 10 to 5. Now it is heading down, so it is a rise of -5. And then how far have we run? I don't know. I don't know what each square is worth. Let me just zoom out a bit here. Every square must be worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So the first time so our rise is -5 and we run +5, and we can reduce that to -1. So that's section number 1. Then we have here section number 2. And so what is our rise and what is our run? So from this area, it looks like we rise up and we have to go here, right? So we start here and we end here. We rise up 1 and we go over 2. So we rise up 1 and go over 2, which we know is 0.5. So if we had to compare compare 1 and 2, I would say 1 is faster. Even though it's negative, we're not looking at the negative in terms of that doesn't tell us about the steepness. It tells us the direction, but it doesn't tell us the steepness. The steepness is 1, and that's a higher number than 0.5. Now, this area here, section 3, I'm actually not going to do. You should know what the slope is. You should know what the rise over run is. And that's because it's 0. This is where we stop. And you need to see that right away. Those horizontal things, that's where we have a rise and run of 0. I said I wasn't going to do it, but I might as well actually, now that I'm here. How much did we go from here to here? How much do we rise up? Nothing. And how much do we run? Well, 1, 2, 3. 0 over 3 is 0. So if I had to rank these, I would say number 1 is the steepest, and then number 2, and then number 3. But it looks to me like number 4 is actually incredibly steep. So this is section number 4. And so we need to know, what is this total rise? Well, it's down, so it's going to be negative, but I don't know what that number is. I'm just going to have to count that. But it is going to be negative. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's -6, and we run over 1, 2, 2. -6 over 2, which is -3. So if I had to rank these for steepness, I would say number 4 is the most steep because it's 3. And then a steepness of 1 would come in second, and then this one would be third, and of course stopping would be the least steep, so that would be the last one. So I want to use all of that when I describe. It tells me here, the question asks, describe the movements, but we want to use the slope. So let's say that this here is our distance from home. Okay, so let's describe, I've just made this up, this is our distance from home. So for the first 5 seconds, so from 0 to 5 seconds, what happens? And then we have from 5 to 7, that is another section of time. So from 5 to 7 seconds, we're going to look at, well, what happens then? And then from 7 all the way to 10, we're going to say, well, what happens then? 7 to 10. Is that right? 7 to 10? Yeah. And then lastly, from 10 to 12. So what's happening in that time period? So it's good for us to, there's 4 sections, so we're writing down what's happening. So in the first section, looks like we're distance from home is 10 meters. So we travel from 10, we're 10 meters away from home, and then at the end, we're 5 meters away from home. So I would say that for the first 5 seconds, I'm moving towards my home. And then from 5 to 7 seconds, so here I am, I'm 5 meters, see, 5. I'm 5 meters away from my home. I'm actually moving away from my home again. Now I'm 6 meters away. So from that little time, I'm moving not towards my home, but I'm moving away from my home. But I'm doing that but I'm doing that slower. As you can see here, my slope was -1 and now it's 0.5. 1 is a higher number than 0.5. From 7 to 10 seconds, I stop moving. And then lastly, it looks like I move all the way back to my house. So I move all the way back to my home. This is the fastest. So I will zoom that out a little bit here so you can take a look at everything, and you can just pause it, zoom, screenshot it, I don't know, and then zoom in and out. But you're going to want to have, on a question, I'm going to be marking you on this. The question would be, would ask for all the different slopes. So I would need to see all 4 slopes, and then I would need to see some sort of for every section, just a little sentence. Are you moving towards the home? Are you moving away from the home? Are you moving towards something or away from something? Are you stopped? When is it the fastest? So I've indicated that this one is the fastest. I've also indicated here that I'm going a little bit slower than I was the first time. And then I guess, of course, it's really clear, but I've indicated here now that I've stopped. So keep all of that in mind.